Hello, everyone. This is Derek Dodds with the first episode of Cura Medicina, my new podcast. I'm very excited to be here and to be sharing my journey with you. This first podcast is going to be a reading by my friend Clarke Thorell of my book, Ayahuasca, A Beginner's Guide, How to Prepare for Ceremony. And he and I have been discussing this project for a while, and he read the introduction to my book, and we thought this would be a great first podcast. And I totally agree with him. He's such a talented reader and just a beautiful person, and I've shared much of my journey with him. So please sit back and relax and enjoy the first podcast of Cura Medicina and the reading of the introduction to my book. Enjoy.
Introduction. Ayahuasca is a healer. Ayahuasca is a healer. The word heal comes from the Old English word helan, itself of Germanic origin, which means to restore to sound health. This is precisely what ayahuasca does. It restores health while healing the broken parts of ourselves. However, this healing does not come easily. Ayahuasca reveals the pain and sorrow buried deep within the psyche and allows us to meet it head-on. Only through this direct relationship with our pain can we ignite our healing energies to move back towards sound health. I spent several decades of my life entombing my trauma. My pain was enveloped in a cocoon deep inside my heart, and I locked away the butterfly key of freedom. My pain manifested in addiction and psychological turmoil. I ran from myself and hid in the superficial sunshine of adventure and physical sensation. I never acknowledged that I needed help, nor did I want to look weak, even though inside I was screaming for support. In 2015, my mother died, and something shifted deep in my being. Some indigenous tribes suggest that we are energetically connected to our mother's umbilical cord. My mother left me at age 2 and never really returned. She did try to reconnect with me at the end of her life, but I couldn't find the strength to start again. This seed of sorrow in my heart blocked my ability to feel real love, and I learned to shield my heart from emotion and pain. After my mother's death, the energetic cord around my heart loosened. My healing journey started with books and podcasts. I spent time learning about trauma and asking my dad about my childhood. I began to piece together the cryptic puzzle that was my early life. I was pulled toward a pilgrimage of healing that led me back to plant medicine. My healing started gradually with psilocybin, and I started to see a psychologist once a week. After several years of laying this foundation, I was called to a transformative year where I sat in ceremony with ayahuasca more than 20 times in 12 months. My friends and family would challenge my path. "You're going again?" they would frequently ask. I felt judged. I couldn't explain my actions to my rational self, and it took strength to wade through the criticism of those around me. I was being pulled by something mysterious. I was ready to answer the call. Western culture has traditionally used medicine to treat superficial wounds of the flesh and psyche. However, ayahuasca works on a deeper level. Ayahuasca heals the soul and releases deep traumas and pernicious ancestral energetic patterns attached to our etheric bodies. The etheric body is a part of our energetic field and is attached to our physical form. Thus, anything that influences the etheric body will also appear in physical form. Clearing or releasing negative energies from the etheric field can bring deep healing to the physical body. Ayahuasca is a magician. I have heard it said many times by both participants and teachers. Ayahuasca is magic. Before taking ayahuasca, I never believed in magic, and I still cannot explain many things that happened to me during ceremony. I remain skeptical, yet open. Christian Funder said it well in his book Grandmother Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca reveals that the mind has almost cosmic proportions, and to try to explain exactly what will happen upon ingestion of this plant medicine would be a fool's errand. One of my teachers frequently says right before ceremony, "I have no idea what will happen." After sitting over 20 times in 1 year, I can wholeheartedly report that it is always different. Ceremony is never what you expect it to be. As we say in the plant medicine world, ayahuasca gives you what you need, not what you want. As Don Jose Campos said in the book The Shaman and Ayahuasca, "Once when I drank ayahuasca, she very gently explained to me, she told me, 'Look, I give to you, but I take away.' So I insisted, 'What do you give to me, and what do you take away?' She said, 'I take away defects, and I give you responsibilities.' The plant has a spirit. I don't even know what that means, but it feels right to say it. I've learned this year that my relationship with the plant has evolved. I have come to honor and respect my connection to ayahuasca, and I feel a kinship building as I dance with her. She is a living entity embodying the magical spirit of the jungle and cosmos. She is introducing me to myself through myself and restoring my ability to connect with the divine. Ayahuasca is a teacher. All great teachers ignite something deep within us. They remind us of our potential, and they model a holistic way of being. Good teachers move us closer to wholeness, and they help us deconstruct our trauma and rebuild bridges to open our hearts. Much of our inner wisdom lies dormant in the shadows of our being, hidden behind our childhood wounds. Our superpowers lie just beyond these wounds, and the healing starts once we hold ourselves up to the truth and allow the light of clarity in. Ayahuasca shoots an arrow of fire into our wounds and helps us start the process. Ayahuasca dissolves defense mechanisms and cracks our hearts open, allowing grief and sadness to be felt. It's an arduous journey, and it requires a warrior's courage. Ayahuasca is not for everyone, but when it is for you, you will know it because she will call you to her side, and you will not doubt your path. It happened to me suddenly, and it could also happen to you. As said by both Buddhists and Theosophists, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Ayahuasca is a therapist. Ayahuasca is benevolent, and she is merciless. Ayahuasca understands that real healing reveals the obscurity in our soul's darkness. Some people fear ayahuasca not because she creates scary hallucinations, but because she exposes the ugliness of our past behaviors and holds us accountable to the truth. People say that one night of drinking ayahuasca is like 10 years of therapy. For me, it's been a wonderful supplement to the other work, including therapy, breath work, cold therapy, exercise, and healthy eating that I was already doing in my life. Ayahuasca is like a therapist, but it doesn't replace therapy. We are complex beings, and working with a therapist may help you in ways you never thought possible. If you mix plant medicine and therapy, I suggest hiring a therapist or coach with personal experience with psychedelics. Ayahuasca pulls nuggets of self-knowledge into the light, but she does so like a warrior tearing a sword out of a wound. Most therapy is gentle. It takes time and requires a commitment to regular sessions. Ayahuasca is more direct. The naked soul both rejoices and quivers at ayahuasca's sight. The soul recognizes that the heart is the doorway toward joy, and ayahuasca helps open that door and allows us to regain the throne of love's kingdom. May she call you back to your throne. The history of ayahuasca. To drink yahe is to return to the cosmic uterus and be reborn. It is to tear through the placenta of ordinary perception and enter realms where death can be known and life traced through sensation to the primordial source of all existence. When Plants Dream, Daniel Pinchbeck and Sophia Rocklin. Ayahuasca isn't a recent discovery. Nobody knows how old ayahuasca is or when indigenous tribes started using it. The Amazonian tribes that currently grow and use ayahuasca do not have written records of their origin, and thus we can only speculate about ayahuasca's legacy. However, there is a mention of a mystical potion used in the Indian Rig Veda from 1500 BCE. These sacred texts suggest an ayahuasca-like substance called soma was used to enter into spiritual rapture. In Rig Veda 8.48.3-4 it says, "We have drunk the soma, we have become immortal, we have reached the gods, we have entered the realm of heavenly light. What now can the ungrateful do to us? What harm of the mortal? O immortal Soma, grant peace in our hearts when drunk or dropped, gracious as a father to his son, a friend to his friend, wise and of good counsel. O Soma, extend our lives for our souls." If you replace the word soma with ayahuasca in that paragraph, it accurately describes the experience of an ayahuasca journey. We have a lot of anecdotal evidence regarding ayahuasca ceremonies. It's essential that we approach them with an open heart. It's important to understand the plant's spirit and its benefits. We also need to know how the ceremony is traditionally performed, how it has gained popularity in the West, and why it's crucial to respect its origins. Once we're aware of these aspects, we need to prepare ourselves for the ceremony to receive the maximum benefits from it. This book is meant to be a guide for your first ayahuasca ceremony. In each chapter, I will reveal lessons and techniques I learned by working with many ayahuasca teachers. But first, let's get to know this psychedelic drink better. What are psychedelics? Psychedelics are a class of substances that can alter our minds and consciousness. Classic psychedelics disrupt neural activity by diffusing through the brain and activating a serotonin receptor known as the 5-HT2A receptor. Psychedelics alter our mood, perception, and consciousness in ways that can otherwise only be experienced in certain dream states or through religious practice, trance, meditation, and deep breathing. This state is not easily achieved, and its effects are transformative. Psychedelics help awaken a connection to source energy and let us drop the psychological baggage of the ego connected to trauma and low self-worth. Psychedelics don't cause users to become overly dependent on them. Compared to other drugs, there is almost no chance of getting addicted to them. These substances have shown promise in treating various mental conditions such as anxiety, depression, and addiction. While research is still underway regarding these compounds, initial evidence has given a lot of hope to people in the mental health research community. Of course, this hasn't always been the case. When we pay attention to the terms used to describe these substances over the decades, we get a sense of how the scientific community has perceived them. In the 1960s and 70s, most scientists referred to these substances as psychotomimetics, which indicates that these drugs could mimic the symptoms of psychosis by causing delusions or states of delirium. This wasn't a positive term, and it presented these drugs as something to be avoided. Later, the term hallucinogens became more popular, but even this didn't do any justice to their full range of properties. This is because these drugs don't produce hallucinations all the time, or if taken in controlled doses. Also, these terms don't discuss their benefits or potential in any other way.
I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. What a beautiful voice and reading by my friend Clarke Thorell. Look forward to more sections of my book being read in future episodes, along with interviews, people that have been part of my journey, my medicine journey, Cura Medicina, which means curing of the medicine. And if you found this podcast, I'm so grateful to you, and I look forward to having you along on this journey, and a journey of medicine and healing and celebration. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to download my book, please see the link in the description or go to the site Cura Medicina, where you'll find more information on the book, the audiobook, and many more things to come. We're going to end with a beautiful piece by Clarke on the Shruti box. Please sit back and relax and enjoy this amazing musician and his gift to the world.